Hey guys, this is Free Eating Frenzy 91, and I'm bringing you another Walking Dead bio where I talk about the walking characters of Walking Dead and go into an in-depth analysis of them. Alright, now last time we did Katja. Now I know that we're not going by the way the characters appeared, we're going by the way they died, which means that even people who appeared first like Kenny will be much later since Kenny lasted 5 episodes. Alright, so as most of you would know, since we did Katja last episode, this episode we're going to do her little bundle of joy, Kenny Jr., or Duck as he is known to most of the people. Anyway, Duck is first seen in for episode 1 on Herschel's farm, and he is just known as Kenny and his family. They introduced Duck, blah blah blah, and he is first just seen as a little 10. I don't know his exact age. I think he's 10. I'm not sure, but he is first seen as a little kid. Like, he just comes and he's all happy. He honestly seems like he has no clue that people have been eating each other for the past couple of days when he first is seen. Because look at Clementine. She's hiding behind Lee. Duck is just out in the open. Like, Clementine is just facing facts, and Duck is like, come on, everything's fine. Let's go build this fence. Come on, I want to build this fence. Let me build this fence. Let me sit on the tractor. Well, that didn't work out too well for him. And even Kenny and his family says, the reason his name is because nothing affects him. Even Kenny says so.
Yeah, nothing bothers him. Like water off a duck's back, you know?
Right. Now, the scene where Sean gets taken instead of Duck, obviously he's not as resilient as he seems. Duck is actually affected later on by this particular scene of how Sean did not survive, but he did, and he blames himself for Sean's death as is seen in episode 3. But we'll get a bit to that later. Another thing that Kenny and his family, or just Kenny, really admits is that his son is not that smart.
He's dumb as a bag of hammers.
But Duck also proves him wrong a little bit later on. Anyway, Duck is actually the center of the beginning of episode 3. Not from when he's shown to when they get to the drugstore. Duck is basically the center. He is attacked again, and once again he survives. And actually, Duck is pretty blessed, or he just constantly gets attacked throughout the whole series, and he keeps surviving. He keeps just pulling out until he dies, obviously, but we'll get to that later. This pharmacy scene, what I actually love about this scene, what it shows about Duck, is the fact that he's just ignoring everybody. His mother, what people don't know is Duck has Katja's mentality. Katja's not dumb or absent-minded, but when it comes to simply ignoring the bad, Duck has that mentality, and that's what Katja had. And when you think about this whole scene, which most people I doubt would notice, it showed how Duck could just not let things bother him. Because, everybody's talking about throwing him out, and Duck is just in the back. He's not running, he's not screaming. Even his mother is screaming. And Duck is just like, Mom, come on. Now, this is in part, I believe, to him being under shock from what just happened. In fact, later on through this drugstore, Duck is the only character in the drugstore not to talk, which most people wouldn't realize, but it actually showed that not everything just washes off his back, as his name suggests, because he was actually in shock from being attacked twice, at least in that time period. Because, look at his face and all. Lee tries to talk to him twice. Duck will not speak. It shows that Duck was actually affected by what happened both to Sean and what happened to him this day. Duck was actually hurt, or whatever you could say, in shock. Shows he's deeper than most people thought he was. Now, not to say Duck is the smartest person in the world, especially in episode 2 when everybody else stops eating Mark. Duck does.
Mom, I was eating that!
So, yeah, and he is absent-minded, obviously, by that scene and everything else. So Duck is not to say that Duck is dumb, but he is not exactly smart. He is also not exactly aware of all his surroundings. But Duck is not the happy-go-lucky kid that he's portrayed to be throughout the whole series. In fact, Duck has a much deeper side than most people wouldn't even have known. During episode 2, which I won't show really any of him because he doesn't really have much of a part in episode 2 up until him being kidnapped and Lee having to save him, but that doesn't really show to his personality. That's more just to him being Duck was honestly the kid in trouble most of the time in this game, okay? But anyway, in episode 2 when the car is being stolen, nobody else but Duck notices one thing.
Not all of us.
Look.
Duck notices that something is with Kenny and Lily. And in episode 3, his genius actually turns out to be much better known. And everybody loved him after Duck first appeared and was like, basically after he said these words.
You're the Grace Detective, and I can be Dick Grayson, your ward. That's Robin.
So yeah, Duck actually shows, during the whole detective scene, Duck shows his wits, his cunning. I mean, Duck finds almost every single clue. The only clue Lee finds is the X. Duck finds the chalk. Duck finds the thing underneath the garbage tin. Duck finds everything, and it really just proved that Duck was much smarter than people thought he was. And the fact that he also knew all these things about people showed that Duck was kind of sneaky. I mean, the fact that he even snuck up on Lee in the first place showed that he was he can be quiet, he can be stealth-like, and it really showed. I would really love to see them develop more of this. Now back to him noticing something was with Kenny and Lily, and he was kind of like, Dad, what did you do? And what I really think is, I think that was because Duck was not supposed to die in episode 3. I think Duck's character was supposed to be developed more, and it was supposed to be like he was going to figure out what was wrong with his dad and Lily. I think that was supposed to happen. And if you don't believe me, check out this. Now pay attention to this picture of episode 3, The Long Road Ahead. I can't zoom in, but if you can notice, that's Duck's face poking out of the left side or the right side of the train, like a dog. I don't think he was supposed to die. I think they're supposed to keep him alive. I mean, Duck, I really think that the only reason they killed Duck was because they sat down and were like, we got to get Katjaa out of here. Now, how are we going to do that? And they're like, let's make her commit suicide, but that doesn't make sense. Oh, if Duck dies, she will. All right, there we go. And I really think Duck was supposed to live, but Katjaa was supposed to die, but they couldn't do it without Duck dying because they had no other way to make Katjaa die unless Katjaa was the one who was bitten and not Duck, which I don't think they wanted to do, which wouldn't make sense because, I mean, if the zombie's attacking them, obviously Duck's going to be the one bitten, not her. So I really think Duck was supposed to live, and he was I think it would have really developed his character. It would have shown more of his cunning, more of his intelligence. I really think it would have done a lot more for his character than they did, though they did a lot that people didn't notice. Anyway, that's Duck's bio. Thank you for watching. Next episode will obviously be the next person who died, which I will leave you to guess. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.